Hi, I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. Owning a home is part of the American dream. Financial experts tell us that owning a car is better than leasing. And who would think of not owning the clothes that they wear? The concept of "that's mine" runs so deep, it's probably just hardwired into our brains. To prove it, just try to take a toy away from a 2-year-old. On the other hand, the control of an asset is often more valuable than ownership. Think about that. If you could lease a new $25,000 car for $1 a month for 10 years, do you really care if you don't own it? I would suggest absolutely not. In this case, leasing it is way better than owning it. Or take a middle-aged tenant with a lifetime lease on a property subject to rent controls. Say that the rent is 1/10 of what the market rent would be. Who would you say has more value from that asset, the tenant or the owner? Well, clearly the tenant. They have a valuable leasehold interest that in some cases would be worth more than the ownership interest. So if we can have regular access to something, whether it's using a beach house through a home swap, sharing power tools, or renting a trailer to haul a piano, we don't need to own it. And often we're financially ahead not to own it. So can this same concept be applied to the income you earn? I think it may. For some people, having access to benefits and services they don't own through earnings may be a better deal. Now, this is the conclusion that Gary Alexander, who's Secretary of Public Welfare for Pennsylvania, reached in a paper called Welfare's Failure and the Solution. He published a chart that shows the government benefits that accrue to single mothers. Alexander states the single mom is better off earning a gross income of $29,000, which produces $57,327 in net income and benefits, than to earn a gross income of $69,000, which after taxes has net income and benefits of slightly less at $57,045. According to Alexander, benefits that accrue in Pennsylvania to a single mom with 2 preschool children who earn $29,000 include health insurance for her children of about $5,000, various child care benefits of about $15,000, housing worth $6,000, and food worth $2,300. A single mom earning $69,000 doesn't qualify for any of these benefits and actually takes home $182 less than the mom earning $29,000. Now, it can be argued that someone receiving government benefits really isn't in control. The agencies providing the benefits impose a host of regulations and could decide to reduce or eliminate those benefits. Yet the same thing applies to other non-owned goods or services. Our car rental company, for example, could change its policies or close, but in the meantime, its customers still benefit. A chart in Alexander's paper with even more serious implications illustrate that 110 million privately employed workers in the U.S. now support 88 million welfare recipients and government workers. This trend is not economically sustainable. While the government can print all the money that it needs to fund the 88 million, inflation will eventually become a huge concern. And if inflation and taxes continue to climb, at some point in time, the producers, the taxpayers, may say enough. They will either choose to become recipients instead of producers, or they might relocate themselves and their skills to a country that rewards productivity and incentive. Tyler Durden of ZeroHedge.com published an interesting article on the topic on November 27, 2012. He calls it a painful reality in America that for increasingly more, it is now more lucrative in the form of actual disposable income to sit, do nothing, and collect various welfare entitlements than to work. Now this is a pretty difficult subject to raise, and I'm sure my inbox will fill with unhappy emails from folks who will miss my point, and they'll give me legitimate illustrations of those less fortunate and disabled who depend on welfare. However, talking about this is essential if we are to solve our nation's fiscal problems. If our representatives come to depend more for re-election on those who receive tax funds than those who provide tax funds, we will only dig ourselves further into a hole. Thanks for listening.